So apparently white conservative men are having a problem in dating. They are speaking up about it, as most women are liberal, and a lot of the young conservative women, they get married like real quick, right? So these men, you have to snap them off the market. So if you're like average or like not really desirable as a conservative man, it could be difficult. Because again, a lot of these guys are also racist, so they don't really want to date interracially. A lot of them will because maybe they feel like they have no choice, or they just take what they can get. But why is that the case? In this video, we're going to take a little bit of a deep dive into some of the other factors to why these men are struggling.
71% of people who say they're politically liberal won't date somebody who's politically conservative. 41% of people who are politically conservative won't date somebody who's politically liberal. And then you're thinking, why? Does that mean that conservatives have lower standards? No. It means that the people who say they're conservative are generally men, and they're like, yeah, I'll date a liberal. And women are like, no, because women always have higher standards in dating because they have a higher investment in dating than men do. That's just how dating works, as a matter of fact. So that's why you see those asymmetries, and the result of it is that fewer and fewer couples are getting together. I mean, when I was like, I'm 60. Well, I was already actually locked down at that point. But when I was 23, all I wanted to do was meet my soulmate. I couldn't care less. I mean, I fell in love with a girl who didn't speak a single word of English. How could I know what her politics are? I couldn't have cared less what her politics. She could be a communist revolutionary if she's meant to be my wife. That's the way I want it to be.
I completely understand what you're saying. There's a large part of what you're saying that is true. Men do have less requirements. That sounds a little bit desperate. Me personally, your politics do matter. Yeah, they really do. They can't be too strong in either direction. I can't deal with that. I couldn't date a feminist. I couldn't date someone who was super conservative. I couldn't date someone who was into coonery. So there are things that matter to me personally, and probably to you guys as well. But generally speaking, I completely understand where he's coming from. And when it comes to women as well, if you're against things like abortion, these aren't just politics to women. These are human rights. These are things that are about their autonomy. So it's more than that. So it's less likely for them to want to date you.
Do you want to watch a bunch of students at a university in a Reform UK society explain why women don't like them? Of course you do. Have a watch of this.
Especially on Hinge profiles, you've got your political views. You put like conservative, you put like reform, anything far right.
I mean, look at this. Let's be honest. Like, lame. You know what I'm saying? He looks like a loser, right? In reality, most white people are conservative. If you're a conservative man and you're struggling, it's not because you're conservative. Look at you. With like no respect. Look at you.
They look at you different.
Yeah, so put your thinking cap on for a moment and consider why that is. Do you think it has anything to do with the views expressed about women and those ideologies that might mean that women aren't inherently fans of them?
You see the liberal woman over here, just being a man, they're going to look at you and think you're racist or whatever, because that's just the assumptions they make.
Munir, you're a white South African in a Reform UK society. Some things are going to be automatically assumed about you, like how I assume if your family no longer live in South Africa, they probably left after 1994.
Nasty.
Culture works. A lot of men, I can speak for myself, but a lot of men will probably just be afraid to go talk to women, because these days you can just say hello to a woman and they can blow it out of proportion. They can do many things.
Yeah, what are you doing when you say hello to a woman? Because when I say hello to a woman, they say back to me, hello, or hello, how are you? I feel like there's some stuff you're not telling us here.
A few weeks ago I was on Hinge, and obviously you go through it and you can see your political views. I don't think I can name one time I saw a single woman that said conservative. Everyone is either liberal or they put nothing. Well, it's moderate. Moderate is fine, but it's always liberal. And immediately I'm going to say no to that, because with my views, it's just not going to work.
Right, so if I understand this correctly, this guy's complaining that liberal women don't want to date him because of his views, yet he admits he doesn't want to date liberal women because of their views. So I'm kind of confused as to why he's complaining. Like, you made this situation yourself, Munir.
In terms of dating, I don't live very far. I have a car, so I just date people from Blackpool.
All right, Shagger, we see you. I mean, look, if you are a single right-wing man and a journalist asks you to talk about your love life, just say no and walk away. I don't care what they're offering you. It is surely not worth this sort of humiliation.
Can someone please explain to me why conservative white men feel they are under attack in the United States? Because the last time I checked, every single US president has been a man. Only one of those men has been a man of color. White men have never been enslaved in this country. White men have never been denied their right to vote in this country, nor has that ever been on the fucking table. Just because people want the same rights that you've always had doesn't mean that you're the victim.
What's happening is this. The quality of these people's lives are diminishing. They are stupid enough and angry enough to be fed certain types of propaganda to, instead of target that ire towards the system, they go towards immigrants. If they were smarter, they'd see that that's bullshit, but they're not. And they're poor, and they're angry, and they're dumb.
Especially for lots of young right-wing people, there are a lot of issues with dating in this sphere, especially when you go on dating apps. I mean, you know, I've actually been recognised on a few of them in the past, and it's not altogether pleasant because they're so obnoxiously left-wing, the vast majority of the people on there. It can be rather hard to find romance in a way, but I count myself rather lucky, so, you know.
Because you date left-wing girls?
No.
You have?
No. In the past, yes.
What about your friends, your family, relationships?
I've got lots of friends in the political sphere now, but my core group of friends from, say, school and also from Durham, I don't really speak to them anymore.
Would you say that's because of your political beliefs?
In part, yes, but also in part, no. I'd say more my core friends from school, I think they find it quite hard to accept what I have become. People act like I'm the devil. I'm not the devil. I'm just a young 22-year-old who's got a slightly different opinion to them.
I've also found with people who are racist, right? And this is the most interesting thing. Throughout the entire history, this remains the same. From the slave owners going all the way up to where we are now. They all believe that they're good people. It's actually shocking. The slave owners believed that they were good people, right? They had the churches above the slave dungeons. They're worshipping God and Jesus above the slave dungeons. And in their mind, they're going to heaven because they're good people whilst being directly on top of the slave dungeons. You fast forward today, and these people with inherently racist opinions, they just believe we're just different. We just have a different opinion. Our views are just different. People can't accept that. Our views are just different. They don't believe that they're bad people. So they're shocked when people isolate from them. Because all we have is a difference in opinion. What's the problem?
They speak liberal, they have liberal friends, and then they go online and they are a white supremacist.
This is Vera Papasova. She spent the last year dating far-right men in New York City for a story for Cosmopolitan magazine.
They're the most insecure men I've ever sat down with. It was really difficult to have some of these dates because they were so insecure, because they don't really know who they are and they don't know how to figure that out.
She said the men she dated got all their news and information from the so-called manosphere.
They did not listen to anything else. They're only listening to independent.
The fuck is that noise in the background?
Media, and they're only listening to men talking to men. They love the UFC guys. They love the MMA guys because those guys do what they can. They're modern gladiators. They're badass. One of these guys brought...
Do you guys like the UFC? Boxing? I find it too barbaric. It gives me like the gladiator vibes, like you said, back in the days, just watching people just hit themselves in the face. It's too much. That for me stopped at wrestling. You know, WWE, when I stopped watching that, everything else is too much. It's too much.
Me to a political meeting.
And did they talk about politics?
Barely. They talked about, it was a bunch of men complaining about girlfriends and wives, regurgitating Andrew Tate type of advice about how to train your girlfriend how to train your wife to be submissive. And so this group was supposed to be a political group, but they're talking about relationship problems. And the fact that that's what most of the time was spent on, you don't need to be a neo-Nazi. You need therapy. You have to incentivize someone to want to be better. You can't just say, let's make men better. The thing about these guys is their biggest support system is online, but that also is very isolating, and isolation is what breeds hatred. People have to really think about, do you have the capacity to talk to people that you don't agree with? Because that one nice conversation you might have might change someone's day enough to not have to seek out help in an online support group, which is actually a bunch of white supremacists using political beliefs as an excuse for how they feel.
Conservative white men are obsessed with control, and that is why they marry immigrants. There are numerous instances of this, from Donald Trump to Jonathan Ross, the man who just murdered Renee Nicole Good. It is very clear to me that men do not see their wives as people. They see them as an extension of themselves, someone that they want to control completely and totally. That is why you will often see conservative men who are anti-immigration marry women who are immigrants, because these women move from another country for this man. They have no friends and they're terribly isolated. There is no sense of community and no support network, which makes it virtually impossible to leave him.
This is something, again, the normal person can't really understand. You know, racists who like black men. This is, again, something that the regular person can't understand, right? These racist white women, for example, who date black men. I literally just done a video about one. The racist white men who would sleep with their black slave. Like, it's weird. You're anti-immigration, but you're with an immigrant. I would love to just pop in and out. I don't want to stay in your brain because it's probably all messed up and warped in there. But I'd love to just see how they rationalize the things that they do. It's very strange. Very, very strange. I think one of the biggest reasons is desperation, right? I don't think someone who's racist and anti-immigration, their first option would be an immigrant. It'd probably be a white woman, but maybe they just don't think that they can get any.
Because also, if she does, she has to move home. She can't stay in the United States. Jonathan Ross's wife is from the Philippines. Donald Trump's wife is from Slovenia. And it's because this is the perfect way to isolate somebody. Not to mention, there is a whole other racial element of white men going to the Philippines and going to these other countries, literally taking a wife. It's called bride shopping, and they're known as passport bros, and bringing them back to the United States. They don't want a wife who has opinions or rights or autonomy.
I was going to say this about the passport bros, okay? The black ones, one of their biggest messages is don't come back. So I don't know about bringing these women back. I don't know. The black men that I've seen out there, they're staying out there. Let's go put that out there.
Because then she'll actually recognize he's a loser and leave him, which is why this is an incredibly common pattern rooted in ownership, not in actual support.
But yeah, you let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below, man. I feel no sympathy, obviously.
This liquor got me in my zone. Now I'm blowing up your phone. Blowing weed, smoking the ozone.